Hey guys, welcome back. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in the Mid-Atlantic today. Today is December 24th. It's Christmas Eve. You won't be watching this until well after Christmas, but Merry Christmas anyway. I hope you had a fantastic one. I thought that there's no reason to waste such a wonderful, gorgeous day as today. So, like most of you probably do, I have Christmas Eve plans, but it ain't Eve yet. It is day, and in the day, I'm out shooting. What am I shooting today? Hellcat, Springfield Armory Hellcat. In fact, I'm shooting 3 different Springfield Armory Hellcats today. It's going to be a comparison between those 3. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. On the Just an Opinion channel, you tune in for a twofer, you get a 50% bonus. No extra charge to you. It's a threefer, 3 Hellcats. So here's the story. One Hellcat I own. I bought it when Hellcat first came out. I like it a lot, and it has been a go-to gun. The other 2 that I have were review guns that came to me for reviews. And one was a Guns America review, one was, I think, just for this channel. But anyway, the way it works, in case you don't know, with review guns, if you get a loaner from a gun company to do a review, then at the end of a period of time, you have to send that gun back. Or there's usually an option to buy it. So in this case, what I have decided, I think, is that I'm going to send one of the 2 guns back and probably purchase the other one. I haven't decided exactly which yet, and that's part of today's exercise, and I thought I would bring you along because my decision-making process, however flawed it might be, could at least help you maybe with your decision-making progress. If you find yourself shopping for a Hellcat and then you realize, wow, there's a whole bunch of different kinds, which one do I want? Maybe this will help. Because it is such a beautiful day, if you guys watch my videos a lot, you see me doing this. Because when I'm out at the range, you know, I'll just see some amazing birds flying overhead, you know, bald eagles and, you know, Cooper hawks and just all kinds of stuff. Today, I'm ready for them. Usually I just look at them and go, oh man, if only I had my, well, today I brought something that I can shoot them with. So, if for some reason in the middle of filming I stop and grab this guy, that's why. Now let's get to it. All right, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is just warm up. I'm going to shoot 10 rounds with each of the guns, and maybe, you know, give me an opportunity to reacquaint myself with each of these 3 pistols. And while I'm doing that, for starters, I'll describe each one so that you know the 3 I'm comparing. I am shooting, ammo-wise, I'm shooting Ammo Incorporated. This is a range pack. It's a black box, 124 grain, brass cased. Looks like it's good stuff. It's nice looking ammo anyway. I don't think this is, I think this is the first time I've ever shot Ammo Incorporated. So I bought a couple of their 250 round, or 200 round, shit, it's easy for me to say. I bought a couple of their 200 round packs somewhere along the line and giving them a try today. Little reference. All right. So first up is, this is the gun that I own. This is the one I bought way back when the Hellcat first came out. It is the standard, nothing different or added on. It is without a safety. It is without a cut for an optic. In fact, at this point, at the point I bought this, I don't think they were offering that option yet, the OSP. So everything's standard, but that says a lot because it's got those wonderful U-dot sights that I really like. This one is wearing a Talon grip, Talon rubberized grip, which is for me a must-have on almost every polymer gun. The only other difference, the thing that makes it non-stock completely, is that I have an Apex trigger that I did install in this. So I dropped an Apex trigger into it. I didn't do any real trigger work inside. All I did really was change out with the kit that comes from Apex, so the trigger and spring and so forth. So that's what this one is. First shots with it to warm up. That target is about 14 yards away. The gun's snappy, of course. All these little 9s are snappy, but it handles it well, and it feels wider than it actually is, if that means anything to you. And the apex trigger is really sweet. And you can see that if I pay attention to what I'm doing, basically puts them all into one tiny little spot. So that's mine. That's the first plain Jane, I'll call it. Next up is the RDP. This is the one that has not only the OSP and the Hex Wasp sight on it, but it also has that compensator out front. This was a review gun, so I do not own this particular gun. I either got to buy it or send it back. All right, let's try this one. Now this is a stock trigger from Springfield Armory. Okay, also a good opportunity to make sure that the dot is zeroed well, and it looks like it is. So that is the RDP. Last, definitely not least, by any means, is the Langdon Tactical Hellcat, the LTT version of the Hellcat, and it is also got the red dot on it. This one happens to have a crimson trace optic on it. So again, trying to keep everything kind of mixed up so that no two of these guns are really very much alike. The only thing this one has in common with my personal Hellcat is the apex trigger. But in addition to having the apex trigger installed, it also has the Ernest Langdon magic, because he does a much better install than I do, that's for sure. So that's the deal with this one. This is the Langdon Tactical Hellcat with an optic. It's a crimson trace. Same thing. Let me just warm up with it, get a chance to make sure the sight is sighted in. All right, certainly a good enough zero for what we're here to do today. I will do some groups on paper for fun, but I think we're in good shape. So once before I tried to show the difference in recoil between the regular Hellcat and the compensated Hellcat, and I used graph paper to show the muzzle rise and captured pictures and did all that. And that was effective, but then it occurred to me, you know, afterwards, it's like, why didn't I just use the Mantis X10? Because it does that. So that's what I'm doing today. I have the Mantis X10 device mounted right there on the Picatinny rail under the muzzle, and I've got it all, I think, set up correctly in the app. We'll find out here in a minute. And I'm going to do that 10 rounds with each gun, and I think then it'll show me the recoil for those 10 rounds. And I think that's good because I might control the recoil better on 1 or 2 rounds than I do for other rounds and so forth. So hopefully it will show us all those 10 rounds. It's been so long, I have to confess, since I've used this feature of the Mantis X, and shame on me because I should use it a lot more. So starting out in the same order, starting out with my personal Hellcat. And let me start the Mantis. All right, here we go. And I'm going to try and be as fair as I possibly can. I'm going to use the same grip. I'm trying to make them all successful. Okay. Now, let's see what we got. All right, good. I have all 10 shots here. Let me do a screen capture of that. All right, so that first one is my Hellcat, basic Hellcat. And I'll show you that information right here on the screen. Okay, now it's reset. And we're going to move on next to, same order, compensated Hellcat. This will be interesting. All right, that was the compensator. You know, I'm not necessarily the sharpest knife in the drawer. So I did my whole test, my 10 rounds with the compensated Hellcat, but I had forgot to put the Mantis on it. It was still laying on the table on my other gun. So let's do it again. Okay, starting now. Well, that looks better. I've actually got data now. 10 points of data. Yay. Do a screenshot. And I will show you that right here. We're not comparing the 3 yet. Let's wait. Hold on till all 3 are done. Okay, last, but I don't know. Is there a least when it comes to recoil? I guess there is. Now the Langdon Tactical. Ten rounds. Measuring recoil. All right, and we have 10 good points of data. Capture that. And here it is. All right. Now, when I'm back at the studio and doing post, I'll put these 3 together and do a little bit of analysis and comparison. Okay, let's look at the recoil comparison between these 3 Hellcats. The plain Hellcat did pretty well. This should be a general benchmark for the Hellcat design since it's the first production run of the gun. Average recovery time is basically how long it took for the muzzle to return from the apex of its recoil to a relatively level position again. Just under 7/10 of a second for the Hellcat is not bad at all. And keep in mind that I wasn't trying to grip any harder or angle my grip any differently than I normally would when I shoot. Muzzle rise is another number that I really like to look at. The average angle of muzzle rise is really the most common thing people are interested in. That's what you generally refer to as muzzle flip. Average muzzle rise was highest with the plain Hellcat, no surprise there. But I was a bit surprised to see the LTT Hellcat was the lowest. It averaged just 10.5 degrees of lift over the 10 shots. The RDP Hellcat with the compensator had the most consistent and straight up and down muzzle lift, and also a very impressive 12.78 degree average. What about shot placement? How do these three compare when I just shoot a few groups? Let's find out. All right, this will be the last objective test of the day. And of course, most of my decision-making process, it always ends up being subjective. But I've been considering those subjective things as I've been shooting each of the guns, especially the two that I need to decide between whether I want to keep one of them. You know, how does it feel? You know, they're the same gun, they're just variations, but there are distinct differences between them. So this last test is going to be, which one do I shoot better? Because I say it every time, at the end of the day, that's really what counts. It counts for me, and I think it probably counts for you too, right? Whichever gun you shoot the best is probably the one you want to carry. All right, so that target is 14 yards away. It's standing right next to the steel target I was shooting at. 14 yards down range, and thanks to my friends at Optics Planet for keeping me in paper to shoot at. Thanks to my friends at TA Targets while I'm at it for that steel target that I was shooting at. And here's a little hint, I have discount codes at both of those places. If you look down below, you'll find them. All right, 14 yards away, starting with, and by the way, I'm using the Ammo Incorporated ammo. It's been performing so well, I thought, why not? You know, I'm going to use this for the test. And the other cool thing is, they gave me 2 extra rounds in the first. There's 2 boxes of 100 in the 200 round pack. Well, I'm down to the emptying the first box, and there were 2 extra rounds. It doesn't happen too often, so that's nice. I don't know if that was just a mistake in my favor, or if that's a practice that they try and give the customer extra round or 2. But either way, thank you, Ammo Incorporated. I will make good use of them. All right, here we go. My gun, my personal gun, 14 yards, and I'm going to go for the top left target. All right. Also worth noting, at this distance, the front sight totally obscures that entire green circle. So I'm using a real tight 6 o'clock hold. Now that was open sights, though I do love the Hellcat U-dot sights. I really like them a lot. All right, so now the Hellcat with the compensator and with the Hex Wasp red dot. And in this case, I'm going to put the dot right on the target, as I should. All right, there's those 5. And again, in the same order we've been doing, the Langdon Tactical. And this one has the Crimson Trace sight on it. I felt one get away from me. Oh, I definitely threw one with a nasty flinch or something, but all in all, looks like they did okay. Take a closer look. I don't know what happened with that third group. Could have been a couple of bad rounds, but that seems unlikely. Most likely, it was something stupid that I did. I know I caught myself in one really bad flinch. So I'm going to chalk those flyers up to bonehead shooter error. So if I throw out 2 from each group to make things a little more fair and remove some shooter error, the results are close. The best group by far was the second, with the RDP Hellcat. The whole group is less than 3/4 of an inch, and the best 3 are well under 0.3. The ridiculous 6-inch group that I shot with the LTT gets more respect when you cut it down to 3 at about 0.7. In the middle of that sits the regular plain Hellcat, although the best 3 were the largest group at 1.168. I thought another way to compare these two review Hellcats would be to check their tuning. And of course, by tuning, I mean how well do they play the Song of My People. So here is the traditional Song of My People. We are a proud people. I play it for you on a pair of Springfield Hellcats. So after the range comparison and some thought as I produced this video and reviewed the data and experience, I have reached a decision. Before I tell you though, I do want to say that my first choice would be to keep them all. That's a no-brainer, right? But I don't have enough budget to have that many copies of the same gun when there are other guns I need. Not to mention ammo. You get the idea. So one has to go back. And it's the RDP. It came down to price versus value for me. The compensator does make a difference, but not enough to override the amazing trigger that Langdon Tactical put in the LTT Hellcat, not to mention that fantastic stippling job on the frame. What I'd really like to do is take the barrel and the compensator from the RDP, put it into the LTT Hellcat. Hey, thanks for watching. Please hit the like button if you made it this far. It really does help the video get suggested to other viewers. And if you don't subscribe, I'd love to have you on board, and then you'll be first to know when new videos are coming out. But if you really want to see my videos before anybody else does, you can become a Patreon supporter. Patreon supporters get early access to almost every video that I produce. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd love to see you over there too. Hope you all have a safe and happy New Year. Let's hope that the new year is way better than the old year. And I'll see you next time.